Almost there. No way. What is this? You're tuned in to the Eyes Open podcast, where secrets aren't safe and we see it all.
There's a lot of things that go on in this world that most people don't see it for what it really is. The world, in the sense that we live in it today, really is like a giant veil that is opaque. You can't see through it. You can't see it for what it really is. And it's pulled over most people's eyes. Now, when people study the world for what it is, the way it really operates, you sometimes get a peek behind that veil and into what I would like to say can be considered a lot of different things. The spiritual realm, the realm that numbers, sigils, and all types of different things that you could never imagine rule. And see, there's curses that are placed over our lives that we don't even know about, that we don't even realize. And when you start to realize it, it's actually mind-blowing. I remember the first time that I really started seeing the world for what it was, and I actually had this discussion with somebody not that long ago. Once you really start seeing the world for what it is, you can't go back. Once you go down in them rabbit holes, you never come back out. And that's pretty much what I could say where I've been. Some people come out of the rabbit hole and they never go back, and I would say that's in the sense of people that have, researched, found the truth in a lot of different things they see in this world, and they come up out of that hole and they just go back to living in the world, kind of in a sense like a lot of people have seen The Matrix, the red pill or the blue pill. So I would say it's in the sense of, being offered that option. That's pretty much what people, that go venture into the rabbit hole of truth, of seeing behind the curtain of what's really going on. And when they do this, they decide to, no, you know what? I want to take the blue pill. I'd rather not really know what's going on. I'd rather be ignorant to what's going on. And I can understand why a lot of people don't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with it for the longest time. I remember right around, like I said, when I started to see things for what it was. And it was hard to believe. I didn't want to believe it. So I can understand why a lot of people refuse to, take in what the world really is. Because you have to rewire your whole brain. Has to be rewired into seeing things for what they really are. So when you've been trained a certain way for so long, it's for example, like you say you worked a job and had a skill and it worked the way you were doing things for so long, but then somebody comes along and shows you, you know what, you actually been doing this, wrong the whole time. I'm going to show you how it's actually done. And you see it and you're like, wow, this is crazy because, I've been living in doing something the wrong way or living a lie for so long. So for a lot of people, it's hard for them to admit to that, and that's understandable. But one of the big things I want to talk about today, being like I had said, this is the month for rituals. I absolutely believe coming up tomorrow, I don't know why I got a really weird feeling about June 6th. I don't know what it is, just an off feeling. Hey, a lot of times I've said stuff that I thought was going to happen or might happen and nothing ended up happening. So could be completely wrong. But I don't know. The 6th just has a weird feeling this year about it. And with all the other type of events that I've been seeing happening, because what happens is a lot of these events that I'm going to explain to you, for example, we have also D-Day coming up on the 6th, which is tomorrow. So that's another thing coming up that has a lot of significance. Now, people need to understand something. It's hard to really, and I'm talking the real truth, because you have people that still, they look into they look into the history of the country and they kind of take a lot of what they've been taught, with them while they're trying to figure out the 100% fact truth of what's going on. And really, in a sense, you almost have to rewrite everything because it's all lies. It really is. The truth that they want you to believe is written by the victors. And a lot of the times the evil people in these type of scenarios win over. And that's what happened with America. We were won over by evil people a very, very long time ago. So to understand, this is something people need to take a look at. Switzerland is a prime example of this. Switzerland hasn't been in war in over 300 years? And they're the banking capital. That's where you see your CERNs at. Like, if you guys really, I've already done an episode on this, but if you look into Switzerland, trust me, a lot of very eerie stuff with Switzerland, how the people that rule the world, quite a few of them live in Switzerland. I'll put it that way. And it goes deeper than these Rockefellers, Rothschilds. It's crazy that a lot of people don't realize that. The 13 families that they first tell you are the ones that rule the world, the DuPonts and all that stuff, they're just puppets themselves as well. When you go even deeper down that hole to see these royal bloodlines that run stuff, it'll blow your mind. Like, there's literally, the easiest way to put it is, there's an evil royal bloodline that runs the whole world. There's a few of them. And they put your popes into place. They put everybody into place where they have to be, because they essentially, the easiest way to explain this is, these people are descended from the fallen ones, the Nephilim that have made the giants, and that bloodline is carried down. This is from my research, what I found. Okay, that's not just based on watching random YouTube videos. But these families, they run a lot of what you see in the world, and they pass it on. So the best way to explain this is, the ones who really, really, truly run stuff, you never even know the names. So if I told you the names of these royal families, like, I'll give you one for example. Go look into the Orsini family. That's one of them. But if you look into these families, most people have never even heard of them. So, and they're not in these books. There's very few literature around, unless you really dig, to learn about these families. But that's why they even had, the head guy for, he was a head top CIA analyst guy. He said, if I told you the name of the people that rule the world, you wouldn't even know their names. You wouldn't be able to pick these people out of a lineup. So when you understand that evil, this is how you have to start this type of understanding of this conversation. When you understand that evil is at the top, in high places, and is running everything, then you realize that anything coming off of that is just straight pure evil. In the sense that, I'm sure it's probably not a new idea, but being, like I said, that we're on the talk of there being rituals that they carry out in June, okay? Blood sacrifices, all types of things get carried out in June. But one of the biggest blood sacrifices that they do all the time, they've been doing it for, over 250 years in this country. Even longer before we even got here. And what that is warfare. Our country, even before it was formed, even during the French and Indian War, Revolutionary War, War of 1812, every single war going down the line in this country, our country's always been in conflict. A lot of these wars could have been avoided, and it's a bloodletting. It's because the emotional, it's already proven you can measure energy off of people. Scientifically, they've proven this. They've proven that energy cannot be made or destroyed. Okay, even science agrees with that. But see, in a sense of God, you have to understand this goes biblically along with how the world would work under God. You can't destroy or create energy. Only God can do that. So the laws of physics and science and everything, a lot of it goes along with biblical principles if you really look at both and have studied both. But people need to understand that the people that rule the world are practicing rituals that are more ancient than this country. They're more ancient than a lot of things that you guys could ever imagine. It goes way back. I mean, you're talking back to sacred geometry. You're talking back to the original roots of witchcraft and black magic and all this that goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. All right, even before the Druids, this goes way, 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 way back. It's the reason why most flags have stars on them. Most people don't even realize where the symbol of the star comes from and the power that a 5-pointed star carries in ritualistic magic. So when people understand, just like if you look up all of the dates that major wars broke out and conflicts, they're all, put them into gematria or even just look at the dates. Like June 6th, okay, 6-6. They made sure D-Day was on June 6th. Look into Pearl Harbor. They made sure it was near the winter equinox. People need to understand that there's way bigger powers at play here than most people can ever understand. And it's not to say, because some people be like, well, you know, how could they plan all these countries to do everything all at once? It's not to say that, for example, I've got to find a way to explain this. It's not to say, like, for example, everybody's on a world stage playing, which is very possible. But it's not to say, like, oh, China is told to do this, they do it. Japan's told to bomb Pearl Harbor, so they do it. No, that's not what it is. It's in the sense that there's evil at work in all men around the whole world that's trying to influence them. Even us that are saved, we are tempted. Jesus was tempted. So this evil spirit of sin that's carried on by demonic entities, it's been around for a very, very long time, since the garden, and is trying to get men to do evil things in order for an exchange. So the bigger the ritual, the bigger the reward. So these people understand this. The ones that rule everything, they understand that. War is not just population control, but I'm telling you, the blood spilled over these wars that continue to go on is drawing energy to the agenda that these people are trying to carry out. And when you understand that and see it for what it is, and understand it's even in the Bible, explains about the power that is in the blood of Jesus Christ. But blood in and of itself is a life force. It carries life force with it. So that's why when you think about it, it's very eerie, and it's for a lot of people, it's hard to understand this, but blood spilt on battlefields around the world over money a lot of the time. It's sending out this very strong demonic energy. Because when you think about it, Jesus says to forgive our enemies. Jesus tells us to love our enemies. Now, that's not to say we shouldn't defend ourselves. If we live in a country and we're being invaded, yeah, defend yourself. That's so, in some circumstances, I can see where, you know, absolutely, there's not, I'm not saying not to have a military or protect yourself. I'm simply saying that a lot of the wars we go through can be avoided. As I talked on the Memorial Day special I did, Japan's fuel was, you know, intentionally cut off by us. So we instigated that war. We knew that we left them with no other chance but to attack us. And they already knew what was going to happen. That's why they moved that whole fleet out of Pearl Harbor, all their good ships, and brought in all the old ones. So there's no coincidence that that happened. But it's very disturbing to know that the bloodshed of these young men and women that go to war, these people that are evil people at the top, are using it to conjure up principalities and demons. And because you notice, the more blood that gets spilled, the more wars that we have, things don't get any better, things get worse. Sin becomes more prominent in the world. The world only gets worse. The more war and the more people that die over wars. It just gets worse. Because it starts with, for example, here's what I just have a question. I want people to think about this. All right. Even if we had a Bible in our hand, okay, and we were reading it pre-1776, all right, mind you, when Jesus, they tried to get him to rebel against Caesar, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. He never told them to rebel against Caesar. Okay, and Caesar, they were bad rulers and stuff. Jesus said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's. So my question is this. Even the Revolutionary War really should have never took place based on biblical principles, because what does it say? It says not to rebel. It says that God put these people in place for a reason and not to rebel against what God has ordained. Because if you rebel against that, you rebel against God. So God's saying he put everybody in power, according to Scripture, around the whole world. And that we're not supposed to rebel against these powers because you're rebelling against God. God put them in their place, good or bad, and things are going to play out the way they play out. So my point is this, and see, it's crazy when you think about this. So then technically, they should have never rebelled against the king and started the colonies, started America, and America never should be where it's at, technically, according to the Bible. I mean, am I wrong? But think about this. People will be like, well, they were taxing us 2%. Do you guys see what you're getting taxed right now? I'll take a 2% tax over what we're being taxed right now. So that argument makes zero sense. Whether you might as well be ruled by a king or whoever. I mean, the king was only taxing us 2%. Look at what they're taxing all of Americans now. You're paying federal tax, state tax. Well, depending on the state you're in, just tax for everything. Tax for selling something, tax for buying something. Tax all over the place. So did we become any freer? No. If anything, they just said, the powers that be, nah, king, we're going to be kings. We want to be kings and take control of our own country, and we'll do our own taxing, and this is what we're going to do. So now we're going to fight you for it. So we thought we were fighting for freedom, but ask yourself this. Are we any more free than we were in 1776? When this country was set up for freedom, are we any more free then or now? Right after the Revolutionary War. Are we more free then or are we more free now? There's even a video was very hard to watch. It was an old guy that's a Marine. And if I can find this video, I will patch it into the podcast.
And people don't realize what they have. They bitch about it. And then nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised, not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. That's not what our boys, that's not what they died for.
It's very hard to watch this guy cry and say, this is not what me and my friends died for. This is not what I signed up and almost died for. That the country's going to hell in a handbasket. That we didn't die for this. And he was simply looking around at how screwed up everything is. And that's sad, because see what I'm saying is, what would these people who died for the freedom in this country, If they could stand up out of their graves and walk around and look at the state of the country and the state of the world we're in now, would they say, I died for this? From data centers to AI to you need permission to do anything nowadays. Even to your own home you purchased, you never truly own it. You're still paying property taxes. I mean, you just look at the state of what everything is in right now. I don't think any of these people that fought these past wars, if they could come back and look at it now, would be pleased whatsoever. And now, watching Hegseth walk around and say, hey guys, we got to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. We got to do this. You guys ready? Yeah. They're all, and I'm just like, man, this is insane that the same person that was saying years ago, no more war, we're going to take everybody out of war, and that's what everybody voted for. That's what we've been voting for the longest time, is no more war. Bring the troops home, guard our own country, tell these other countries to go do their own thing, okay? Because you can't believe this, that, oh, Iran's going to get a nuclear weapon. They're so far from having a nuclear weapon, it's not even funny, okay? They don't have the means. They don't have the capabilities. You're simply fighting Israel's fight for them. And I'm sorry to have to tell you that, but it's the truth. It's been like that for a very long time. They've had their fat toes stuck inside of our government and our money, and it's sickening, but that's really what it is. Wars come down to money. Even World War II, the World Bank funded both sides of the conflict. So no matter who won or lost, they still made their money. And they're sitting there laughing. And like I told you, it's even deeper and darker than people understand. This is a ritual. There is very, very sick, evil people that you couldn't even fathom how evil they are, that are running the United States. That's why I've stuck with the fact of that I definitely believe we are Mystery Babylon that's mentioned in the Bible. All I can say is, with the state of the world the way it is in, I only see more war actually coming to our soil at some point. Our country is far overdue. You're talking a quarter of a millennia since, well, with the Civil War we had, war here. But I'm talking foreign wars, more so. So yeah, it's been hundreds of years. But I see major conflict, even if it's a civil war mixed with that's almost what I think. And that's a horrible scenario, is the boiling pot of the races and all types of stuff going on. I see a potential of there being a civil war mixed with other countries seeing that as a weakness and trying to attack us because of it. And that's another reason why I believe, with the way the world is and the turmoil going on, we need every troop we can have right here at home. But I just hope people really wake up more and more each day to the truth, realize that it's not conspiracy theory no more. None of this stuff is. It's being proven to be conspiracy fact. But one day, hopefully, a good amount of people will finally open their eyes to the truth.